came in. New stinking parts, man. We got a muffler, like a real muffler. RLV 4104. We got us a good clamp. We got an air filter, pre-filter for our air filter. Let's start with this. So this is our air filter. I go down a very dusty road, and this thing gets so dusty that it's really clogged up pretty badly. A pre-filter will sit on top of the filter to, it's a little it's waterproof, yet it breathes, and you can get a lot of the large particles and dust particles to pre-filter them, but it doesn't restrict. Getting it started is the hardest thing, I think. Now you see, my friends, it looks almost like an oil can now, doesn't it? This is from Outerwears, Outerwears pre-filters. What you have to do is you got to remember what size filter you have and then get the pre-filter that matches. And this does not restrict the airflow to the air cleaner, but it definitely keeps those big, large particles out. It really helps keep that dust off of it. You know, you've seen me do this before. It just fits right on there. And of course, there's a clamp that should fit on there that I don't have, almost like what you call mosquito netting. This doesn't need a filter because, well, I would like to have a filter on it just to keep the dust off of it, right? Because this doesn't breathe, it only breathes out. This sucks in, that breathes out. So inhale, exhale, basically. Remember last week we installed this old pipe. Remember the last motor I blew up, we have all the external upgrades for it, like this Robertson's pipe here. We actually have some paint. We may go ahead and sand this thing, get down and paint it. As such, we need a muffler, or not a muffler, but a silencer. I've always wondered what that was. It looks like there's a clip of some time. I guess in case it falls off, you can have a way to recover it and not lose it. That's interesting. This looks like a piece of wire that goes into the gauge here that I guess will eventually just, you could circle around your main part of your mud motor, and if the pipe comes off, you won't lose it. You'll just dangle, but you won't lose it. Oh, that's brilliant. This is a race grade, race certified exhaust. See all that? So you got that baffle there. Brrr. The exhaust hits that, silences it, and it's also a spark arrestor. That, my friends, is a muffler, a silencer, really. A spark arrestor. So here's the thing. When you're out there in the wilderness, you got to be mindful of the dangers and the hazards. These engines, once you start modifying them, even with a little stage 1 exhaust and intake and exhaust, I've had problems with this back motor, this stock motor backfiring. It'll happen. I mean, a certain amount of backfire is normal for a motor like this, especially if you're running a little bit more power. And especially when you're running at high speed and you decelerate, pop, 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 pop. You know, think about every Harley you ever heard pulling up to a stoplight and they're letting off the throttle, how it kind of pops. A certain amount of that is actually a sign of a healthy running engine. Don't worry. Here's the problem that I have. When I'm out there in the wilderness and I'm up a creek or out there and you're close to the bank and things like that, and there's fallen trees and fallen limbs, the last thing I want is a backfire to start a fire because of all the leaves and all the pine straw and dead trees. What's the likelihood of something catching on fire? Probably nil. But I don't want to take a risk. And as someone who uses these motors, I want to teach good practices and things like that. So put some kind of spark arrestor on these motors. It looks like it just took a small car engine pipe and just put several mesh circle, baffles in there, and that's going to arrest that spark. That spark is not going to extend beyond the range of the pipe, and so you're good to go. And yet we still have that nice big pipe flowing out a lot of that extra exhaust, it's still making power and not restrictive. Keep that in mind when designing your exhaust for your mud motor. We'll fit it here, fit this on here, And there we go. We're starting to run out of room on this boat. I mean, we're all the way down, and that's not, you can see we can still take that on and off. We're just about bottomed out though, so it's, let's still see that. For demonstration, let me show you how loud this thing is with a straight pipe with no muffler or of any kind. A little bit silent, probably about 4 or 5 decibels quieter. There's baffle stage from about here all the way through. It really does arrest that spark.
This brace comes with the Robertson's mud pipe and is held on by a bolt and a basic hose clamp.
Gotta get this thing on the river. Tune in Saturday.